Hello? Can you hear me
Yes.
once again? Okay, good. You
So,
have been studying, yeah. Okay, good.
so you're a bit.
You have,
If it's me. Oh, yeah.
am I clear now?
Yes, sir. My volume was just low.
Okay. Now, you have been looking at Unit 3. Do you have any questions so far?
Yes, I do have questions.
Okay. So let's start with the questions you have. Then I'll also tell you what I've got.
So when finding the translation of the graphs, right?
Yes.
Are we supposed to find two other points on the graph, excluding the one where let's say for instance, it's a parabola and okay, it's at 0 and you find the turning point. Are you then After finding the turning point, are you then supposed to find two other points on the graph?
Mm, you said when you have a parabola,
Let
let's
me
say,
give you an example.
okay, good.
Let me give you an example. So,
Okay.
for instance, I drew a graph of, okay, this is not, oh, it is a parabola. X is equals to y squared plus 3.
X is equals to
Y
y
squared plus
squared
3.
plus 3. Okay.
So already by looking at the equation, I know that it's shifted 3 units to the right.
X equals to y squared plus 3. This graph looks to me like an inverse graph of a quadratic function. Oh, hello?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Isn't this an inverse of a quadratic graph?
Okay, I just know that it's 90 degrees because you're going to shift. What's this? It's going to be
No,
my turning point is 3 to 0. So it's going to be
I
like
think this graph, if I'm not mistaken, it will look like this. You see? So if you are saying plus 3, then it's
no, not
going
like
to,
that. It can't look like that.
sorry, it's going to look like something like this. So plus 3, then this one will go
Yes.
like this. So here will be 3.
No, so my theory is the x because there is no bracket. It's just a way.
So it's x equals to
Y squared
y squared. Uh-huh.
plus 3.
Yes. So it means you are shifting the graph 3 units up.
So it's the x's. It's x equal, not y equal.
Yeah, it is x equals to y squared y squared plus 3. Oh, okay, there's two brackets. Okay, I understand you. So it's going, if
Yes.
this is the original graph, it's going to go like this. Where here will be 3, then it will be like this. Is that clear?
Yes.
So we can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Your
hear
voice
you.
is low.
Please maybe turn on your volume because I'm speaking very loud. Check your volume.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, check your volume. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Okay, let me also ask this question. Let us say I have this. I have a I have this. Let's say I have f of x. This is a function of f of x. Then my f of x is like this. I have then I have a graph like this. Then I assume that here is 2, here is 1 and 4, and here is um, I assume that I have a point A here. My point A is 2 and 0. Then I have a turning point here. My turning point is the point B is 1 and 4. Then I have a point here which is C is um, 1 and 0. Then I have one last point here which is D. It is 3 and 0. Then I have a point in the middle here. It is 2 and 6. So let us say this point will be D and this point will be E. This point will be E. So I'm having A. So for f of x, né? For f of x, I know that my point A is 2, 0. My point B is 1, 4. My point C is 1, 0. My point D is 2, 6. And my point E is 3, 0. Now, if I say f of half x, if I want if I want to translate f of half x like this, what will be my point A now? F of half x, what will be my point A now?
1.
My point A has got 2 points. So it will be what? Remember, it's an ordered pair.
Oh, 1
Remember,
is to 0. 1
1
is
is
to
to 0. Is that correct? When you multiply the x, né, the value of your x, you divide this number by the value of your x. You understand me? So the translation here will be 40 for A. Have you seen that? When you multiply by the x, you always divide the x. Have you seen that? So your translation here will be 40. Your translation here will be 24. Only the x. 24.
Sir, can you please lift up your voice a bit?
You cannot still, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but your voice is too low.
Can you check what are you using? What device are you using?
Dell.
What device are you using? A phone.
No, a laptop.
And can you check the volume to see whether your volume is fine?
Yes, my volume is it's 100.
100. Okay,
Mm.
but now you can hear me now.
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay, good. So you understand how I got 40 and 24. You see, whenever
No.
you see, if I have f of and the x is inside. Okay, no. Let, let me to make you understand it. Let me just do it a lot of. Let's say I have 2x. Eh? Then let us say here I have 2 f of x. Then I have, let's say, half f of x. Then let's say I have f of x plus 2. Then I have f of x minus 2. Can we look at it now? Kosi, can you hear me clearly? Kosi, Kosi Sambu, can you hear me? Hello? Rainy, can you hear me? Kosi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So I'm saying that when the x is when you multiply the x with the function, only the x, you see that you divide to translate the original function, you divide only the x values by whatever you translated here, but you leave the y alone. You understand me? You see that we have 2 here. 2 divided by half is 4. For B, 1 divided by half is 2. You leave the 4 alone. For C, um, 1 divided by half, we are going to get 2 and 0 in that order. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, so if I have f of 2x, then I'll divide this 2 to translate it to f of 2x. I'll divide this 2 by this 2. So my point A will now become 1 and 0. My point B will now become oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, 1 and 0, sorry. My point B will now become half and 4. Can we see that?
Yes.
Half and 4. Then my point C will become half and 0 in that order. So you can continue there. Have you seen that? Half and 0. Then if you are translating, if I multiply 2 by f of x, this time you don't divide, but you multiply by y. Have you seen that? So in effect, my point 20 will still remain 20. Nothing will change because 0 times 2 is 0. My point B, my point B, which is 1 and 4 originally, will now become 1 and 8. 1 and 8. Then my point C, which is 1 0, will still remain 1 0. My point D, which is 2 6 originally, will become 2 comma 12. So if I multiply by the x, you divide with the original points with the whatever number I multiply by. Can you see that? If I multiply the whole fraction with the y, you multiplied only the y with whatever number I multiply by. Does it make sense to you? Or who doesn't understand that?
Sir, please redo 2 of x. Did you multiply 2 by everything? You multiplied 2 by the function.
By the y component. I multiplied
Only
2
the
by
y.
the y component. Oh, is that?
Oh, okay. This makes sense. I understand.
Okay, good. So half f of x, I'm going to get my point A to be 2 0. My point B is going to be 1 and 2. 1 and 2. My point C is going to be 1 and 0. My point D, my point D is going to be 2 and 3. Can we all see that?
Yes.
Okay, so if I have f of x plus 2, what will be the translation? If I have f of x plus 2, what will be the translation? If I have f of
Move
x
it up
plus 2,
to the what's this? To the left.
it will also only you find out that only the x values will shift. Have you seen that? So that means that you subtract 2 from whatever value you have for the x. Can we see that? Can we see that? Because when you add to the
Yes.
x, the graph shifts to the left. So my point A now is that it will translate to 0 0. My point B, my point B now will translate to minus 1 and 4.
Sir,
Yes.
the way, isn't it point A it's negative 2, 0, and point B it's negative 1 and 4, according to your graph?
No, originally my point A is 2 and 0. Can you see that? Originally. Can we see that?
No.
Can you see the arrow? Look at my point A. Is 2 and 0 originally. I'm translating from my original graph.
Okay, I get that, sir.
Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So we have the point B is minus 4, minus 1 and 4. The point C will also be minus 1. Oh, please, please, this point was supposed to be negative. The B was supposed to be negative, ne? So here must be negative, here must be negative. I'm so sorry. Negative, here must be negative. So when I have a point minus 1 and 4, here is supposed to be minus 3 and 4. I'm so sorry. Ne? Because the B this side is negative 1. It's supposed to be negative 1. So I'll have minus 2, I'll have minus 3 and 4. Then here will be minus 1 and 0. Yes, Abelo. Okay. Minus 1 and 0.
Yes.
Yeah, is there any questions?
Also also the A has to be negative. Negative 2 and 0.
Oh, thank you so much. The 2 must be negative 2 and 0. I made a mistake. Thank you very much. So here 2 will be negative, 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 negative. Please, I'm so sorry. Ne? So that means that this point will be minus 4. Minus 4 and 0. I think I get what Kusi you were trying to say now. Please, are we on the same page? Are we on the same page or is there any
Yes.
question?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Minus 1 and 0. And our excuse me, our point D can be 0 and 6 in that order. So if I say f of x minus 2, the whole function minus 2, that means that the graph will move down by 2 units. You see that? So in this case, your x you will remain the same, then you subtract from the y. Can we see that? So my point A will now be minus 2 and minus 2. My point B is going to be minus 1 and 2. My point C will be minus 1 and minus 2. So you can continue in that order. Have you seen? So like these translations are very, very important. And trust me, you are going to see some of things like this in your class test. You are going to write this after. You are going to see things like this in your class test. You are going to write this after. Then obviously, if I have f of x plus 2, now your graph will that I'm sorry, let's say minus 2. I did a plus, so f of x, let me write it again. F of x minus 2. That means that your graph will shift to the right by 2 units. So you are going to add to the only the x. Have you seen that? Because the y will remain the same, only the x will be moving. Can you see that? So our point here, A, will be 0, 0, because now you add to the x, 0, 0. Our point B will be 1, 0. I'm sorry, 1, 4, because it's minus 1, so plus 2. You are going to get positive 1 and 4. In that order. So you can continue there. Excuse me, you can continue there. Please, any questions? F of x minus 2. Please, if you want to know it further, there's a software called GeoGebra. It's free. I will recommend that for calculus, all of you download that software. GeoGebra. GeoGebra. It can plot any graph for you. GeoGebra. You can download on your phone if you have using an Android or the other one. What you call it? A software for an iPhone. Any of them. You can use it and you can put f of x, then you can see the point. You can put 2 times into bracket f of x, then you will see your point. F of half of x, you see it follows this. So you can get any translation that you want on the graph. Is that clear?
Yes.
Can we go on? Okay, good. So please look at this translation because they will come in the exams. Now, secondly, I would like to, and this one I'm doing here, I'm not only looking at your class test. Even in your semester, please, any at times they will ask you to re-sketch the graph. So once you get the points, then you draw the graph. I mean, you just plot the points and you get the graph. Remember that the shape of the graph cannot change. It's only the graph can only move. Is that clear? But the shape can never change. Have you seen that? When it's a written test, they will ask you to redraw the graph. Then most of you, if you don't understand these translations, they will try and go and simplify f of half x, then try and solve it and draw the graph. Then when they'll come and tell you the time wasn't enough. You understand me? The time was not enough. You didn't understand what you were supposed to do. Exactly. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I don't understand what you're saying, sir.
What I'm trying to say is that okay, let me give an example. So for instance, if I have like it's just an example, f of x, eh, f of x equals to x squared plus 5x plus 6. Then I know that my graph will look like this. Something like this. Here will be, I'm not too, I cannot draw accurately. Okay, let's say my graph will look like this. I know that maybe here will be -3 and 0. Here will be -2 and 0. Then let us say it's just an example. Here will be, let's say um -3 over minus, let's say, 3 over 2, sorry, minus, let's say here is minus 5 over 2 and minus 4. So if I say plot the graph of f of, let's say, x plus 4, then anybody who understands know that if you know the translation, you simply subtract 4 from minus 3, then you get your first point. Subtract 4 from minus 2, then you get the second point. Subtract 4 from minus 3, then you get your third point, because the graph will shift to the left by 4 units. Exactly. But the person who doesn't understand, you know the person, what the person does, and I see it so many times. The person will go and put, okay, let me solve x plus 4 all squared, because I'll replace x with x plus 4 plus 5x plus 4 plus 6. Then he will re-simplify it. Then before it's perfectly legal. Find the x intercept, find the turning point, find the y intercept. By the time you finish this, all the time is gone and you can get it wrong. You understand me? But the person who understands translation knows very well that I will just have to shift this graph 4 units to the left, shift this point 4 units to the left, shift this point 4 units to the left, and I will redraw the graph. You get my point here? Do you understand what I'm trying to say now?
Yes, I do understand. Thank you.
Okay, good. So that is the power of translation. So the person who doesn't understand translation will try and go and do it this way. At the end of the day, he or she will waste all the time. Then at the end of the day, the questions he's even unlikely to get it correct. You understand me? But the one who understands translation knows that if I know the point of my original one, I can get any point I want with translation. It makes sense to you? Does it make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Okay, so do you still have any questions for me that you don't understand? Otherwise, I'm going to see whether I can get some questions in our papers, some of our papers.
So we can do inverse. I think that's
Is that
where I was struggling a bit.
inverse?
We can
Okay,
do
let's
inverse, yes, the last part of the chapter.
chapter. Okay, let's see.
Yes.
Inverse. Okay, so what about inverse didn't you get? How to translate an inverse graph, or what exactly couldn't you understand? Yes. Um, the inverse is a straightforward thing. Whatever you got for the original graph, you simply interchange x and y. Exactly. Whatever you got for x and y, you simply interchange x and y. Then you get your original. So now let me pick the question which you have here in the book. It says 4x minus x squared. Okay, now let's see. 4x minus x squared. Let me share there. So we have f of x, f of x equals to 4x minus x squared. Now, my turning point, I know that x is going to be equal to, you can use any method, minus b over 2a. Then I'm going to get minus 4 divided by minus 4. So my y component will be 1. Then my f of x is going to be, if I can get it correctly, 3. So my turning point will be 1 and 3. Then my x int is going to be 0 and 0. Then my y int is also going to be 0 and 0. So if I draw this graph, I'm going to have something like this. I'm going to have my point here will be 0 and 0. Let us remember that it's a sketch, so no artwork. Then let us say 1 and 3 will be somewhere here at the turning point. 1 and 3 will be somewhere here. So I'm so sorry. X int is not only 0, because our x int, we are going to take x out. You see, so we are going to get when I take x out, I'll get 4 minus x. Have you seen? So I'll have 2x in 0 and 0, and I can get 4 and 0. Please, are we on the same page? Tabelo, Rainy and Co, are we on the same page?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So here will be, let's say, 4.
Yes, we are.
Then
Yes.
I can draw my graph like this. You see, please forgive me, the graph is not so correct, but at least you know what I'm drawing. So the domain, I can say that my domain for this graph will go from negative infinity to positive infinity. Then the what do you call it? The range is going to go from um, negative infinity to 3 inclusive. Is that correct? Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So now if I come to the inverse, f of x inverse, all that you have to do is that everything you have for the original graph, you interchange x and y. You see that here, my x-intercept, the first one was 0 and 0. So it will remain
0 and
0 and 0. Have you seen that? Now, this point was 0 and what? 4. Sorry, 4 and 0. Can you see that? So it will come here and now it will become 0 and what? 4. Can we see that? Is that clear? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can
It is
hear you,
clear.
sir.
You can hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Then our last point is 1 and 3. 1 and 3. So when we interchange
Is
x,
the kingdom forever?
hello?
Yes, they are.
Uh-huh. So our next point is 1 and 3. What would that point become now?
It will become 3 and 1.
Yes.
It will become 3. So it will become 3 on the x-axis and 1 on the y-axis. You see that? So now our graph is going to go like this. Our new graph is going to be something like this. Can you see that? You just interchange x and y. Can you see that? Does it make sense to you?
Exactly, yes.
So the same thing for the domain. Um, now for the inverse, the domain will become the range will become the domain. Can you see that? So for the inverse graph, the domain will be negative infinity to 3, and the range and the range will be from negative infinity to positive infinity. So this is the theory. Once you can understand the theory, you can plot any graph, find the inverse, draw the inverse. That's how we translate an original graph to an inverse graph. Just swap x and y. Can you see that? Does it make sense to you? Hello?
Yes, sir. It makes sense.
It makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So, Rainy, is are you getting it? Are you getting what you want from the inverse functions?
Yes, I got what was confusing me. Thank you, sir.
It's fine now.
Yes, it's fine now.
Okay, so in an exam too, you have to know that maybe I can give you, I can say I can draw a graph like this. I can draw a graph like this. Then I will say the turning point here is let's say 8 and minus 3. Then I can say find the range. Find the range okay, let me say range and domain. R and D. R and D of f of x plus 6. That is assuming this is f of x. So what will be the domain? Of f of x plus 6.
Negative infinity to positive infinity.
It will be negative infinity. It will not f of x plus 6. Even if you can shape the graph, it will still go from negative infinity to positive infinity. Have you seen that? Nothing will change. What about the range? What about the range?
Minus 8 to positive infinity.
Minus 8. No. Check it well. The range is the y.
Yes.
So it's going to be what?
Negative 3 to positive infinity.
It will be negative 3 to positive. You see that nothing will change there. Eh? Negative 3 to positive infinity.
Oh,
Can you see that?
okay.
Okay, what if I give you this? They find the domain and range of f of x all plus 8. What will be the domain? What will be the domain? What will be the domain? If I have f of x all plus 8. What will be the domain?
Negative infinity to positive infinity.
Good. Nothing will change. Negative infinity to positive infinity.
Minus
What about the range?
five is to negative infinity. 5 is to positive infinity.
Good. It will be 5 inclusive. Have you seen that? Because the range will now shade by 5 units and by 8 units up. You see that? So it will be
Yes,
5
sir.
to what? Positive what? Infinity. Have you seen that? So please, you must go to the exam with this mindset. Is that clear? Not memorizing things. You must go to the exam with this mindset, not memorizing. Does it make sense to you? Please, any questions?
What are you doing now?
You said? Sabelo, any questions?
No, everything is okay. Sir.
Sir, can you repeat the range of 5 is to infinity?
Okay, good. You see, we have f of x plus 8. Can you see that? So
Yes.
remember that when you add to the y, your graph will move up by what? 8 units from the first one you do the translation that we did. So your graph will come somewhere here like this. It will translate somewhere here like this, where we are going to have 8 and positive 5 like this. Have you seen that? Because your f of x plus
Yes.
your graph will shift up by 8. You see that? So that means that your range it will now start from 5 inclusive to positive infinity. Can we see that? Does it make
I
sense to
get
you?
that. Thank you.
Okay, good. Please, any questions again? Any questions again, please? Any questions again, please? Any questions again, please?
No questions, sir.
Okay, good. Then let us see whether we can look at some questions on Unit 3 in our exam papers. Let's see. Um, a minute, please. I just want to check something. Okay, if we can look at the paper for 2018, I think there were some remnants of 3 in question 4. It says that consider the function x cubed plus 4 and g of x equals to cube root x minus 4. G of minus 2, determine x where g of x equals to 2. No. Find the domain and range of g of x. Okay, that one is unit 2. Okay, I don't think there was any question from unit, what do you call it? Unit 3 in this exam. So let me check another one. Let me check another one. Let me check. 2016. Let's see 2016. Hmm. 2015. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. See whether I can get some questions here. That's No, 2016 is too far because that one is an old syllabus. Let me check 2019. Let me check 2019 and see. That one is the current one. Please, let me just load 2019 and see. Exam. Mm, see. A minute, please. I want to check exam 2019. Okay, let's see 2017. Let me load 2016 and see whether I can find some breakdowns. Because I can't find all my passages for the both the semester test and let's see 2017. I think I saw something.
Sir,
Hello.
how long is the test that we're writing on Saturday?
You said?
How long is the test we're writing on Saturday?
Let me check. It's 1 minutes. 120 minutes.
How many marks?
It's just 83 marks, but it will be converted to 100. You can do the calculation yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Um, okay. Let us look at question 12. Question 12. It has got ruminants of unit 3. The question 12 shows that below is a sketch of a graph g of x. Please, can we all see? If you can't see, you can just zoom your screen. It says that below is a sketch of g of x equals to x plus 3 all squared times x minus 1. The curve g of x crosses the x-axis at 1, 0 and touches it at minus 3, 0 and crosses the y-axis at minus 0, minus 9. Now, the first question says that write down the equation of the curve f of x equals to g of x plus 2. How would the equation look like? Who can tell me what he or she would do if given such a question?
Which question are we doing, sir?
Question 12, 2017. 12.1. We are
Cannot
writing
see the
down.
question.
You said?
Cannot see the question. The graph. Where is the graph?
Oh, okay, no, the graph. Let me take you to the graph. Um, okay, that's the graph.
Okay, I can see it now.
So
Now I
what
can
will
see
be,
it.
okay, good. So what will be the equation of x plus 2? G of x plus 2, sorry.
G of x plus 2.
Mm,
It means wherever there's x, we are going to add 2.
G of x plus 2. Mm-hmm.
The first question says, it says what? The first question regarding this graph.
The first question says, a minute. The first question says that we are looking for g of x, the equation of g of x plus 2.
It's x plus 1
Meaning
squared and
we are looking for the translated graph now, the equation of the translated graph or curve.
Uh-huh. So if we translate the graph, what are we going to get?
Now, in place of g of x, you take g of x because we are looking for f of x. You take g of x in x where you see x, you put x plus 2.
Okay, so what will be
so
your graph?
minus 2
Come again,
x
dear.
plus
What will be your answer?
x plus 1 squared and x minus 3.
X plus 1 squared and x minus 3. Let me see. You are getting x plus 1. Let me see. You are getting x plus 1 all squared and x minus, is it x minus what?
3.
No,
No, it says g of x plus 2. You see that? So it's simply that wherever you see x,
it's
you are
going
going
to
to
be x
put
plus
x.
5. Uh-huh.
It's going to be x plus 5 all squared plus x plus
Yes,
times x plus 1.
exactly.
Can you see that?
No.
You see, the function is, look, let me, the function is g of x is equals to x plus 3 all squared and x minus 1. Please, we know that if you add, the graph shifts to the right by 1, but here we are not looking at points. We are looking at we are looking at it algebraically. Is that clear? So don't confuse the points with the algebraic equation. Have you seen that? So now,
Oh,
if we
okay,
have
good then.
g of x plus 2, wherever we have x, you are going to replace it with x plus 2. So we are going to get x plus 2 plus 3 all squared. Then x minus 1 plus 3. Oh, it's plus, oh, sorry, then x plus 2, sorry, x plus 2 minus 1. Then we are going to get x plus 5 all squared x plus 1. Please, does it make sense?
It doesn't make sense. Confused.
Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Can you explain
Yes.
again?
It says that we must find the equation for x plus 2. Is that clear? So here we are looking for it algebraically. You are telling me. So it's simple and straightforward. Wherever you see x on the original equation, you put x plus 2. Wherever you see x on the original equation, you put x plus 2. Because here there was x and this was replaced by x plus 2. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Please, any questions again? Okay, good. Um, I think that's the only question we have here for unit 2. The rest, I think, is um other questions. So, but because the unit 3 is a very simple unit, just that it's a tool that you apply. So if we don't have any questions, then I think it's time for the exam. So we can bring the class one and then you can prepare and write the exams. But um, you have to know that um, you have only one attempt. Yes, simply with
Sir, can you please do number 12 again before you close the class?
number 12 or the whole question of number 12.
Yes.
Okay, but do you understand the first part?
No.
The first part says that we must you see that f of x, I'm sorry, it was g of x. G of x is equals to x plus 3 all squared x minus 1. So now they say find g of x plus.
Lost.
Please don't confuse this is of well, we know that when you have g of x plus 2, this point will move 2 units to get be minus 5. Have you seen that? This point
Yes.
will move, but on the equation algebraically, have you seen that?
Yes.
On the algebraic equation, what you have to do is that here there was x and it was replaced with x plus 2.
Plus
Have you seen
2.
that? So
Yes.
wherever you see x, you simply replace it with x plus. Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
Plus 3 all squared. Then here we have x plus 2 minus 1. So you see that we're going to have you notice that we are going to have x plus 5
Yes.
all squared minus x plus 1. Please, you can see that if we translate, you see here, minus 3, it will go 2 units to the left to be minus 5. Look at here, if we translate x plus 5, we are going to get minus 5. Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Then, in the same way, plus 1, if we move 2 units to the left, it's going to be minus 1. Look at x plus 1. If we translate, we are going to get minus 1. Can you see that?
Yes. Yes.
So don't confuse the equation and the point.
Yes, sir. I understand now.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Please, any questions again? Any questions again?
No questions, sir.
Okay. Okay. So um I think your test is supposed to start at, is it 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock? I think it's 1 o'clock now. So you can, if you don't have any questions, then you can just digest all that we have done and prepare for the test. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay. Unless there are any questions. If it's fine, then we can bring the class to a close. That you can bring any
Yeah,
question.
you were saying the sit down test is out of how much?
Out of 8, that's the raw maths. It's a
What?
1.5.
Pardon?
It's a 1.5 hour test.
But then
It's a 1.5 hour test.
And it's out of
83 raw maths.
okay.
Any questions again?
sorry, I lost connection. You were explaining the test.
No, when you lost connection, I
The
was just
test phase.
saying that our new equation also commensurates with, if we translate x plus 2 minus 3 will translate to minus 3 will translate to minus 5 and 0. And here when we translate x plus 5, we transpose x plus 5, we are going to get minus 5 somewhere. You see that? Then positive 1 will translate to minus what? Minus 1. Here, if we translate x plus 1, we are going to get x equals minus 1. I was just trying to link the algebra and the graph. You get me? you get me? Okay.
Yebu.
Okay, good. So we can, in the absence of question, we can just prepare to write our test. We can just prepare to write the case test in the absence of no further questions. Are there more questions? Okay, then let us close the class and if you have any questions, you can ask me directly on our WhatsApp group. Is that clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we bring the class to a close. Thank you very much and good luck in the test.